Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this particular video, we are going to create a virtual machine with PowerShell. And if you were studying the AZ900 exam, this would be an useful lab for you. In this particular series of labs, this is the lab number 10, we are following a series of labs that are developed by Microsoft Learning. There are 23 of them. We have already finished the first nine of the labs. We are going to work on the lab number 10, which is the create a VM with PowerShell. And I'm going to give you the link of the lab so you can read the details of the lab if you like and do it yourself. To follow on with me, you need access to Azure subscription. If you do not have one, please go to the portal.azure.com and get a subscription for free and get started. So for this lab, what you really need to do, you need to configure the Cloud Shell, and it's very easy. So we are not going to use our local environment to create a Cloud Shell or PowerShell with the Cloud Shell enabled. We are going to use and do everything from the portal itself. And we for the AZ900 exam, you do not have to be a PowerShell expert, a PowerShell guru, but you should have a good understanding about the different verbiage like new AZ resource group, and that kind of tells you what it's going to do. It's going to create a new AZ for Azure a resource group, right? And some of the parameters, you need a name for the resource group and location where you want to deploy. Now verify your resource group. This is some commands. Get is going to get all the resource group that you have, and then you can format it as a table. And we are going to run these commands in here. And for new VM, New-AzVm, and here you have the configurations and you can run this. So let's, and then here some more thing. Get-AzVm is going to tell you the available VMs that you have. Stop-AzVm will stop a virtual machine, and you have to provide that resource group name and the name of your virtual machine. And then to start, it will have a start AzVm that you can do. All right, and then we'll end the lab with some Azure Advisor recommendation if we have any. All right, so let's get started with the lab. So I am within my Azure environment, and if you look at over the top bar, the first one right after the search window is this icon. If you click on it and if you hover over, it should tell you the Cloud Shell. And if you click on it, it's going to bring up this window. If you have not used this command line at all, it's going to ask you to configure something. Okay, it's going to give you the option to use either bash or PowerShell. For this lab, we're going to click on PowerShell, and to be able to use this, you gotta have a storage account. You're saying that there's no storage account mounted, and it is just going to create a storage account for us. If you want advanced setting, you can also click on the show advanced setting, and you can do other stuff in here if you like. I'm just going to close this one. I'm just going to go with the default one. So let's to reopen this one more time. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to load. If it does, what you do, you just go ahead and refresh this page, and a leave page is perfectly all right. Just click on it again and it's back. Click on the PowerShell. I'm just gonna go with the default storage account, and it's just create a storage account for me where when I'm running my commands and everything, if there's any need for storage, it's gonna use that account as a place to store all the information. Okay, so once this is created, you should have the command line available to us, and it's the dark blue background, and it's now requesting a Cloud Shell. It succeeded connecting a terminal, and we should have a terminal available to us momentarily. Okay, so now you know how to configure your Cloud Shell and how to get to your command line from within your Azure portal. Now again, to create a PowerShell, we're just gonna get this command. It's pretty easy, and what I'll do, I'll write down some of the commands that we are doing in the lab for you. In this one, here's the command available, so I can paste it a new Azure resource and kind of look for this status messages like provisioning status is succeeded, So now I should have this particular resource group available to me. And what I would recommend while you're doing this, also in the top bar, go to your resource groups and validate that you have a myRGPS available to you. Do I have it? Do I have it? Yeah, I do. It's right there. Okay. So let's see. So now we have created the resource group. What is the next thing that we need to do? Again, you can run this command that's gonna verify the resource group, which is what we have just done using our Vision portal. You can also do this using this command right here. Let's paste the command, and that should give you all the resource groups that I have. And it's what it's telling you. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 resource groups at the moment. Okay, and this is the myRGPS is the resource group that we have created, and here's the resource ID that you want to get to the resource group programmatically. So that also worked. And now to create a virtual machine, this is a command that we will be running in our shell. Let's put it down here again. On this one, if you notice, New-AzVm is the general top level command, and you are saying what resource group you're going to use the myRGPS, which is we have created in our first command. Name you're going to provide, location you're going to provide, virtual network name you're going to provide something, subnet name you're going to provide something, security group name you're providing the way you want. Public IP address is my public IP address. Really, what I think you probably absolutely need is up to this point. Everything else, as you can still use default values, but just for the sake of this lab, we are going to create the way they want the virtual machine to be created. And we're going to go over here to our lab, and we're going to again paste this command. Okay, and now hit enter. And what it's asking you is asking you to supply the values for the following parameters: the username and the password. So let's see what username and password they're asking. They have said use this as your user. So let's just for this lab use that one. Over here, user is as your user. Hit enter. It's looking for the as your user password. So let's get the password as well. Copy and come back over here and paste, and then I'm gonna hit enter. And what I'll do, well, I don't need that. I'm just gonna save the password just in case. All right, so what over here, you see that your deployment is kind of going on, creating Azure resource. It says 12%, and here, unfortunately, if you go to the notification bar, it does not show anything. I think that's something I would like to see, although the feature is not available. So the notification bar only shows you the deployments when you're using a deployment from the portal or using a template based deployment. If you are deploying using CLI or the PowerShell, this notification bar doesn't work for us. So that's to me that we should I would like to see that in here as well. Okay, so again it looks like the deployment is now done. Again, I'm looking at the provisioning state and it's successful. At this time I can also go inside from the portal. I know this is my resource group. I can click on that one, and I should see the virtual machine and everything else inside this particular resource group, right? So let's just take a quick look at it, and there we go. You see I have the resource group and everything created. Let me just minimize that one real quick, and here's the virtual machine, IP address, so everything looks very nice. So let's get it back. Where did it go? So let's go, yeah, bring it back, bring it this window bigger. So this is, it took probably less than a minute or so to deploy the whole thing. So come back. So again, the other way you can, this is what we just did. We just verified that the virtual machine is running from our portal, and they're saying access the new virtual machine and review the overview and networking setting. So let's just do that from here. My resource, you can just search for virtual machine in here as well. Okay, virtual machines, and it should also give you a list of virtual machines, and my VMPS is the machine that we just created. So if you click on that one and go to the overview page, it should give you the status of the virtual machine, whether it's running, where it's deployed, and things like that. So let's review that real quick. And then we're gonna run a couple more commands, and then we can end the lab. It looks like the EastUS region is a little slow today. It's taking a little bit of time for the virtual machine overview plate to load. So while that's loading, let's just go ahead and just finish up this portion of the lab. So this Get-AZ command should give you the status of this particular virtual machine and output the result nicely. And let's see, yeah, okay, so this is also ready. So from the overview plate, you can see it's using DS1v2, 1 vCPU, 3.5 gigs of memory. It's running. This is my IP address if I want to RDP inside this virtual machine. Okay, so let's go back to our PowerShell, and first click and run this command, Get-AzResourceGroupName myVMPS, my VM using PowerShell, status and format table. And again, you see that it's taking a little bit of time to get the result back. So I'm going to give it a minute. And while it's running, I'm going to go back and pick up the next command. To stop the virtual machine, we can run the stop AZVM command. So the goal is this one should tell you the VM is running. We'll stop and then we'll rerun this command again. And this time it should say that VM status is stopped. So let's go back, and right over here it says giving you all the information. It's telling you VM is running, uh, and it's giving you a little bit more VM size and locations and name. Okay, so now we're gonna stop the virtual machine, and it's asking, hey, this will stop the specific virtual machine. Do you want to continue? Default is Y, so I can just hit enter and it should stop the virtual machine. So just give it a second, and over here as well, this one right now it's said it's running, and as soon as this command is successful, I would expect that running to be changed to stopped or deallocated, something like that. Most likely stopped. And right now the start button is not available to us because it's running. If you stop, you would think that start button will be available to me, and the stop button should be disabled, right? So just let's give it a second and see what happens, and come back over here, and I'm going to recopy this command again and come back over here. It looks like it's still this command is still trying to stop here. It looks like it's now succeeded. So at that time, this didn't get automatically refreshed. So you have to do is refresh this button right here. Let's refresh this one and see if this change is properly reflected. Yeah, so now you see it's saying the status is stopped and deallocated. The stop button is now disabled because the machine is not running, and the start button is now available to me. And I can now again run this command in the PowerShell again, Get-AzVM status, and now it says that that VM is deallocated. If you want to restart the machine, you possibly, instead of stop, do the exact same thing. You come over here and START, and that should start your virtual machine again. Okay, so let's come back over here, see if there's anything else that we need to do. So they're saying uh, this same task in the create a virtual machine Azure CLI lab. So we'll use the Azure CLI to do the same thing, deploy a virtual machine using CLI commands in the next lab, in the next video. They're saying for this, you can go to the advisor and just take a look at it. So over here, let's see, Azure recommendations, you can go there. Azure gives you really nice recommendation, but it takes a little bit of time to generate the recommendation for you. And here, really, I don't have any recommendations at the moment, okay, because the machine is not running for a very long time. So once you are running this machine for a little bit, it will start to accumulate all the recommendations that you should be having for a particular VM. Okay, so that's the end of this lab. Here, since we do not have much recommendations yet, I'm not worried about anything else, but that's the end of the lab. So now you know how to use the PowerShell to create a virtual machine, a little bit of commands, how to stop and start the virtual machine. At this time, I would recommend that you delete the resource group so you're not getting charged for the resources that you will not be using. So in my case, I'm just going to go back to my home, and I'm going to go to the resource group that is hosting my virtual machine. So I'm going to copy the resource group name, and then I'm going to this is a virtual machine, sorry, I want to go to my resource group, which is this one, and I'm going to copy the resource group name. Let's see if I can, and I'm going to hit the delete resource group button and paste, and now this button, delete button, is available to me, and I'm going to hit the delete button, and it should delete my virtual machine and all the resources that we have created in this particular lab. So I'm not getting billed for the resources that I will not be using. I hope you like the video. If you're studying for the AZ900, good luck. Just be familiar with how to run some commands, just play around with it, and be comfortable. You don't have to be a PowerShell expert, a PowerShell guru to pass that exam, but you should be able to read the PowerShell commands and be able to understand what the commands are going to do. That's about it. If you like the video, please give me a like, thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and leave your valuable comments so I can make better videos next time. Again, thanks for watching. Good luck for the exam.